Alright, boom. Y'all know the face, y'all know the name, y'all tuned into the world's greatest podcast. I think by now y'all know this right now. I don't gotta tell you this no more. It is factual information. You're tuned in to Talk HE podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Movie, Cletus Real Talk, CEO of the Cletus Group, and a bunch of other things. It's been a very, very interesting 2022 going into 2023. We're approaching the fourth quarter. It's about to get special. I got a special guest. As you know, I do not introduce my guests. I feel like I should change them when I do it, so I do not do it. So I'm gonna let my special guest introduce herself.
What's up, y'all? Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Blas. I'm a candidate for State Senate for District 23, which, if you're on the North Shore of Staten Island or South Brooklyn, Coney Island, Brighton Beach, a little tiny section sprinkled in there at Bay Ridge, you can vote for me August 23rd, and we're going to get into why and how I can earn your vote.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that about you. I love that we're doing this. And where are we located right now? Like, where are we doing this at? Because I think that's probably the most important and interesting portion of this. Like, what I love speaking about location.
Sure.
So where are we at right now? Yeah, where are we at right now? Tell the people.
We are on the North Shore of Staten Island. We are at Richmond Terrace Houses, which is a night shift facility. If you want to be politically correct, the hood, the project.
We are on Jersey Street. We in the new. Folks, we are in the new. We are not in Stapleton. We are not at somebody's mansion. We are in the new.
I live in the hood, y'all.
We are in the buildings. We are actually in the trenches. Shout out to all my brothers, man. If you know, you know. Shout out to my bro Jeffy Finesse.
456.
Yeah, everybody. Y'all know. I'm in the new, man. Y'all know what time is it. If you went to PS 31.
He risked his life to be here.
If you went to PS 31, then you know what time I'm talking about, man. Shout out to the new. So first things first, what made you want to run for Senate? Like, why?
Wow, we could be here all day on that question. Well, my story is not unique, unfortunately. I'm a mother of 6 beautiful babies. 6
of them?
Yes.
All right, 6. You don't look like a mother of 6. I told you this already.
What does that even mean?
You don't look big. You don't look big.
That's a different interview, y'all. I'm a mother of 6 beautiful babies. Many of them have disabilities.
Wow.
I also have a disability myself.
Wow.
Yes.
When you say a disability, like, what do you mean? Like mental illness disability?
I
or like
have multiple sclerosis.
So for those who may not know what that is, what is that?
It's a neurological disorder. When you take a look at your brain cells, the myelin sheaths of folks that have multiple sclerosis are deteriorated, and the symptoms can be anywhere from the inability to walk to talk. I actually lost a lot of vision in my left eye. I'm legally blind. And so, I'm on medication, and that allows me to be as active as I am every day.
Wow. And is this something that you were born with, or is this something that kind of was developed over time?
So that's an excellent question too. Research is indicating that there are a lot of pediatric cases of multiple sclerosis that are emerging. We're learning more about the disorder, but I was diagnosed with this disorder almost 5 years ago.
So do you think it was like basically something that might have caused like stress?
Well, there's genetic components to it, so we know that it runs in families. I have the type of MS that's called relapsing remitting, so stress, different types of medication can cause me to have a relapse. But we know that, environment plays a huge role, and we'll be diving into why I'm running and what kind of legislation I want and how that impacts the environment like many families like mine live in.
Wow, that's special. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's different. Well, okay, fair enough. So before we go into the why you're running, who are you? Sure. Where are you from? Are you from Staten Island?
No, Staten Island's my home. I've been here for a little over 18 years, but I was born and raised in Brooklyn.
Are you from Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
18 is not bad, because I will tell you, there's people from Staten Island that will say that if you're not born in Staten Island, you're not from Staten Island. I have a weird feeling about that because, like, I've been here for a very long time. Like, I'm 28.
How long have you been here?
Like 27 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm born in Nigeria, but I'm bred here. Nice. If you know, you know type things. But I understand that sometimes it's not about where you're born. Sometimes it's about what you do. So there's a lot of folks that are from Staten Island that has done nothing for the last 60 years that they've been here.
Well,
their families have done nothing but cause havoc.
I didn't realize we're going to church today.
I mean, this is Talk Ain't Cheap podcast on the Talk Ain't Cheap network, and we have a lot of program that we're rolling. We have a lot of programming that we hope to roll out. Yeah. And this is obviously a conversation that we can have off air, but I definitely want to see when you win, or if you win. God willing, you win.
When.
Shout out to my friend Bianca, who's also running. I mean, I'm trying to stay out of this, but you're here with me first, all right? You said yes, so we'll see how that goes. But when you win, that we could be able to continue this conversation further,
Yes.
right? Because I also have a mental health organization called BROS, which stands for Brothers Rising Over Stigmas.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
because
love that.
I myself have my own mental illnesses that had plagued some of my development as my success, but I haven't allowed it to hurt me and harness me being able to do things. So I guess
Thank you for
why
sharing
I'm
that.
asking, why I brought that up is because, you know, you're about to run for Senate, and you spoke about stress, you spoke about all these different things, and then you have these illnesses that are going to impact you.
Yep.
How do you plan on basically, how do you plan on like mediating the stress so that it doesn't impact your ability to do the work to the highest level of your abilities?
Well, I jokingly say if I can handle 6 kids, Albany will be a cakewalk.
Fair enough. And you say your kids also have disabilities as well.
Yes, they do. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
I talk about my oldest daughter's disabilities very, very candidly because she is also open publicly about them. I won't go into the little ones and what's going on with them. But you'll see education is one of my top priorities. It's because I know what it's like fighting for children that have IEPs, or if you don't know what an IEP is, it's an individualized education plan, also known as special education. If you're not very informed and not nice, you might have heard the word SPED or something like that attached to it. We try to steer away from those stigmatized words, but those are all, they all mean the same thing.
So fun fact,
Yeah.
I used to work at IS 49.
Okay.
And while I was there, majority of my time I was working with the IEP kids. And a lot of people don't know a majority of the students at IS 49 actually have IEPs.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's a lot of money that comes from IEPs. So I know you said you want to speak about legislation. Do you really want to talk about it now, or do we want to take our time to get
We
there?
can take our time. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
We got a
all.
little time.
I'm
This
here
talk
for it
ain't
all.
cheap. Okay, I'm just getting a grasp because I know you're a busy woman. Like I said, you're running a campaign. You obviously a mother of 6 kids. You have
Yes.
your own, challenges that you're also facing.
Yes.
And then you also still live in the new. Like, let's
Yep.
not, like, this is the new, regardless of how you may feel, or
Woo.
this is
It's
still
rough
the
out
new.
here in these
Yeah,
streets.
no, this is still, this is one of those.
Listen, I'm going to share a story real quick.
Go ahead.
The other candidates, more power to you. It's not easy to run for office. It doesn't matter where you live. It's rough, okay? It's rough. But like many night shift facilities, my elevator is not reliable. And I was just carrying boxes and boxes of literature up 4 flights of stairs, yard signs up 4 flights of stairs. Listen, it's not equitable at all. I shouldn't have to be doing things like that. But right behind me, there were moms with strollers hiking it all the way up to the 8th floor. And many of our neighbors were like grabbing groceries, grabbing babies that didn't even belong to them. And this is something that happens on a very regular, basis.
Yeah.
Not just at this development, but across the district, across New York City, right? We know this. And those are the heroes of our community. They never get awards. You never see their names on signs. And that's why I'm running. I'm running for those people so we can make sure they have what they need.
No, I love that because I agree. Because I said, like my family, we own a deli in Mariners Harbor, right on the corner of South and Richmond Terrace. Shout out to Peace International Market, 3240 Richmond Terrace. If you like good things, be there. Choose peace. Y'all know the vibes. But we're in between the Harbor Projects and we're in between Arlington. And we became like a safe space especially for mothers and kids.
Nice.
To be able to come, not only just get the items that they need at a great price, but also as a safe haven. Because a lot of people don't really know the history of South Ave and like Richmond Terrace. There was a huge prostitution pimp situation there for many, many years. And my mom, being a black woman owner of that corner,
Ooh.
is a total shift in the paradigm.
Yeah.
This is the first time like we have lights over there, so people don't feel uncomfortable walking from the 40 to go to Arlington.
Yeah.
This is the first time like it's clean. This is the first time like people like this been a consistent business, consistent hours, household products, not just selling weed and drugs and cigarettes and illegal things on the corner. This is the first time like the women and the men have to be respectful because that's my mother, and
That's right.
I'm from where I'm from, so respectfully. Certain games we don't play. I'm a Christian
gotta
bit, but we don't gotta have those
Don't
type.
take me there.
Hashtag everyone could make a phone call. Hashtag everyone could make a phone call. So who's gonna call faster? You get me? So it's just I understand exactly what you're saying. I never had to live in the buildings, but knowing so many people and coming up with so many people, I've heard these stories over and over again.
And they're not getting any better.
Of course not. And it's privately owned, a lot of them. And on top of that, they're getting a lot of money. A lot of money.
Millions
Not a
of
little
dollars.
bit. More.
Millions.
Well,
Millions of dollars.
and this is prime real estate. And a lot of these
The
used
view
to,
is great.
man, I feel like I'm in Miami right now.
I don't know about all that
Only
now.
thing missing is the balcony and the baddies. But I feel like I'm in Miami
There's
right
a few
now.
baddies around
Nah,
here.
I ain't gonna lie. The Project Things is
Come on now.
fire. I just don't have the problem. I don't have time for drama right now. I don't got time for drama. But we're not talking about me. We talking about you. So you're running a campaign.
Correct.
You're running for Senate at that.
Yes, that's right.
So I worked on a Moist campaign, right? And I knew
Amoy Barnes, Reverend Amoy
Big
Barnes.
Amoy.
I love you,
Big
sis.
Amoy, not the liquor one. Big Amoy. And I know there's a huge difference between raising money for city council and
Yes.
raising money for Senate.
Let's talk about it.
What has that process been like for you?
Whew, Lord have some mercy up in here.
Mm-hmm.
So with city council, there's something called matching funds,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
State Senate, there are no matching funds. And when you talk about why you see the same type of cookie cutter legislator, the same type of cookie cutter elected official, it's because they all come from money.
Yeah.
And people and corporations dump money in their campaign. Guess what, y'all? It's all public record. So you can see that I have said no to lots of money. I've said no to real estate PAC money.
Wow.
I have said no to private corporations that I know have done my community harm.
Wow.
I have said no to people that have done my community harm. And I have said, keep your money.
Why?
Because when I am elected,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to owe them anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only answers I have are to the individuals and the families in my community that donated, that made my campaign possible.
Understandable. No, I respect that, and that's honorable. It's just unfortunate because I feel like we understand the system that we operate in, right? And we understand
Correct.
what politics is. Everyone's
Correct.
being bought. And it's tough because at the end of the day, we want to get you in office.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that you actually could be able to offer the help to your community that you need to offer.
Yeah.
But we got to get you in there.
Yeah.
So how do you plan on offsetting the funds that you're not getting from some of these major corporations, these private companies?
Let's talk about what it takes to really run a state Senate campaign.
Let's talk about it. We here.
On average, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for this number?
Come on, of course.
$120,000 to run a state Senate campaign.
Mm-hmm. That's about right. I thought it would be a little more money, honestly.
My competitors who are both machine candidates, meaning they come from a typical background, both lovely people. They come from a typical background of the machine, of those cookie cutter, elected officials that we talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them have done good things, some of them not so much. But we're not going to dive into that.
Yeah, we're not giving nobody any attention.
No. But I will say that when elected, I will be the first NYCHA resident to ever hold elected office in the history of New York City.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That makes no sense. There's over 900,000 of us on paper, and not one of us has ever held elected office.
I mean,
in a state legislator?
No, without a doubt. I feel like you said, it's the money.
And I would also be the first African American woman to hold a state Senate seat
That's a big deal.
on Staten Island.
So why? So like I say, shout out to Pride. I know Pride is a part of your campaign.
Shout out Pride Smith Gilbert.
That's my
First
little
of all,
cousin.
let me talk about Pride
That's
for a
my
second.
cousin. Yeah, she's different. Her whole family's different, but she's really different.
I love her family. I love her.
Different.
Shout
She's
out to
different.
Pride's mom and dad and her twin sis Maya.
Mm-hmm.
My hair be looking messed up, okay? And Pride be like, girl, you can't go out in these streets like that. She be
Yeah.
twisting me. Every time you see my hair in twist, that's all Pride.
Pride is
Shout out to you, Pride. You be having my back, fixing my crown every day. I love you, sis.
I love Pride. Pride is really one of the realest. I think Pride in like 10 years is going to run for something crazy. And when she wins, it's going to be different.
Yo, real talk.
But I guess.
I'm there for it.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, yeah, NYCHA residents don't run. So I guess my question is, what's your background? Like, because
Sure. All right, let's
a
talk
lot
about
of these political people, they come from like law, they come from politics,
Nope.
they come from,
Nope.
they come from the other side. They don't really come from where we from, right?
Correct.
So where are you from?
Sure.
And what is your background? What is your
Sure.
educational background?
I'll get into the beginning. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I'm from two veteran parents.
Okay.
My father is African American. He's from Nigeria originally.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You're Nigerian?
Well, I don't know much about my Nigerian background, so I'll be very forthcoming about that. But yes, I am. And my mother is actually from Indiana. They met in the Army. I'm one of 5 siblings. I grew up in a big family. My mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Wow.
And my father worked for the MTA.
Okay.
My grandparents, my grandmother's still with us. She's
Wow, that's a
actually the
blessing.
chair of the Brooklyn Council of Churches. She's a pastor, runs a nonprofit organization, doing a lot of the work that I do now. My grandfather, the late Bishop John B. Elliott, ran a church called Mount Paran Baptist Church. He was amazing. And he is the reason why I do what I do today, why I'm the woman I am today. And he started from very humble beginnings himself, community gardening, really working with elected officials in the community at the height of the HIV and AIDS epidemic, and just making an impact. If you're ever in Brooklyn, John B. Elliott Way is right near Schaefer Street in East New York.
Congrats to your family. That's a big deal. Legacy.
Yeah. So for me, this is it's not just something I do from 9 to 5 and I clock out. It's a legacy, right? And it's a way of life. So, and I feel like that's the type of state senator and elected officials in general that people deserve.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. If you can't tell me what you did outside of your working hours, you're not getting my vote.
Man, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. You got me turned up for the fourth quarter. I might have to text somebody. I'm telling people, call your mother.
I'm just saying.
Call your mother. Let her know that you're good. It's getting crazy out here. Wow.
You don't
okay.
get my vote.
All right.
No shade thrown. But
nah,
like,
it's real. Nah, talk your talk.
That's my opinion. You know?
Talk your talk. You got to. Nah, that's real.
So that's me. Like I said, I went to Abraham Lincoln High School. Any rail splitters in the house?
I don't know these people, but
okay.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them. It ain't Wagner though, but shout out to them.
It's not Wagner. It's not Wagner. I went to school in Brooklyn and Coney Island, which is also a part of the district. Went to Kingsborough Community College. Then I went to CSI here, College of Staten Island.
Shout out to CSI, man.
Yeah, shout out to CSI. I have a background in public health. I've been in the nonprofit work my entire adult career. I also run my own food justice nonprofit organization called Staten Island Therapeutic Gardens. We started out as a community collective 4 years ago. The gardens that you see outside are from our original community collective.
Okay.
Why are you making that face?
Nah, so
Speak on it.
one thing. So one, you have a garden, if I'm not mistaken, in Mariners Harbor.
No, that's not my garden.
No.
Happy to support it. That's Friends of Mariners Harbor.
Yeah, I know Friends of Mariners Harbor, but there's one. It's not one in the harbor though, like right by Roxbury.
It's not my garden. We are service providers, so we do provide like services, programming, materials, training for folks that want to start urban gardens, resources. But no, that's definitely not me.
I think I might need you because my mom is a gardener. So my family
I got
bloodline, actually, where we come from farmers in Nigeria. Yeah, so we are farmers and traders in Nigeria. Yeah. So we're gonna definitely build about that because I actually been between that and the bees. But we're gonna see. I don't want to get too crazy because this is 2022. They're not ready for 2027 vision.
I don't know nothing about no bees now.
I'll put you on the bees. I'll put you on the bees. Don't worry.
I don't know about no bees. I'm allergic to bees. Can't be around bees.
Really?
It's
You like honey in your tea?
I do. I love
Okay, so I'll get you some honey, but I'll handle the bees. All right, cool.
I'm gonna connect you to Bee Guy. And Ronti does some good stuff.
Shout out to Ronti, man. Ronti ran to get some more. That was a crazy campaign. Ronti is family ties. Shout out to Mr. Carter Center and all the work he does. Like me and Ronti, that's my brother. I respect him.
And shout out to Bee Guy. I don't know your real name, but you know who you are. I'm gonna connect you.
Shout out to Bee Guy. We gonna get some honey.
Yeah, real talk.
I love it.
But I forgot your original question. I'm having so much fun just chatting with you.
It's just more so. Your background. Who are you? What you doing? Why are we here?
Right. So I have a background in public health. At the height of the pandemic, I worked at the only public health nonprofit on Staten Island. Woo, Lord have some mercy. We were creating the guidelines that allowed nonprofits to go out and service the community, the guidelines that allowed elected officials to send their staff to go out and service the community, mapping out data. Who was most impacted?
Us.
Surprise, surprise.
Us.
It was Black and brown people.
Of course. Surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise, whoa. That's shocking. And so it was amazing work, but that wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. You don't hear me really talk about my professional career because, again, I believe that if you're going to be an elected official, talk to me about your lifestyle. Talk to me about your real commitment because anybody could go get paid.
That's a fact.
Do anything.
That's
period.
a fact. That's a fact.
Right? So outside of my professional work, I actually transferred a couple years ago into the private sector. I'm a consultant, diversity, equity, inclusion consultant for government agencies.
Very dope.
And it's a fancy way of saying I get to government agencies to be a little less racist.
Oh shit!
Just a little bit.
Yo, that's tough. I love that. Okay, keep it going.
And, really infuse policies for folks that have disabilities like myself.
Love it.
Feel a little bit more comfortable.
I feel that. Right?
But so that's what I do for work. Is how I put, bread on the table for my babies. It's how I pay my rent in this lovely luxury apartment. That was some sarcasm, y'all, in case you didn't get that. Anyway, but let's get into the volunteer. Let's get into my lifestyle, like who I am, what I do. In addition to running my food justice nonprofit organization, all for free, I also am the second vice president of the Community Education Council. Community Education Council, it's for all public schools across the entire island. So I get to help advocate for parents like me that go, hey, I have a child with a developmental delay. She needs services, and I don't know where to go or what to do.
Do you know Tanisha Smith, right?
Of course I do.
Okay.
UFT in the house. Love you, Tanisha.
That's my auntie. So, yeah.
Shut it.
Hey, so shout out to Black educators in Staten Island. We just created the group.
Real talk.
They've been doing it for a long time, but now we got an officialized group, and we're
That's
also
beautiful.
August 27th. Let me make sure before I start getting people bad dates. I think it's August 25th at 7:00 p.m. We're doing something called Back to School Conversations.
Very nice.
So obviously Tanisha's gonna be hosting it. I'll also
it.
be there, but I'll be live from London. But we're not talking about that. But no, we're gonna have.
Would you say you take me to London?
Financially, I'm not there right now. Hopefully by October I could be able to make some things shake. We got a lot of things in the pipeline. I'm not gonna lie, we've been really going crazy and working behind the scenes.
But can I just say shout out to Tanisha, because during the pandemic she actually had lots of virtual conversations around academic resources, and Lord, that was some mess. But I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit. I don't do that enough.
This is yours.
My counselor's telling me to do that some more, so here I am.
Shout out to therapy. I need
shout out to therapy, y'all.
I need to get a therapist soon. I'm getting some therapists soon. Woo,
get some.
Hashtag get you a therapist.
Yeah, get you a therapist. It's the new trend. But I will say that, so I do the Community Education Council. I took a pause, but on the board of House of Community Bada Adramat, led by the Imam Zul and Jamila LaSalle. They're freaking amazing doing their thing. So shout out to House of Community, feeding people, providing wellness. Love it.
I have a question. I have a real question.
Yeah, what's
so
up?
I feel like there's a lot of people doing a lot of public work, right? And there was something I saw a long time ago about the minute that black people become a little more selfish, because we're the only people that will give and we don't got, right?
Well,
so the minute that we become more selfish, we'll be able to be more economically empowered. Do you think that's true, or do you think that our super strength is actually in the fact that we are selfless and that we are okay with, pulling ourselves by the bootstraps and helping people in our community who tend to be in need for real?
Listen, I'll dive into that. I'll use myself as an example. During the height of the pandemic, outside of working and homeschooling 6 children.
6 of them things. With disabilities.
My beautiful baby.
Jesus Christ.
And reinforcing their physical therapy, occupational therapy, adaptive phys ed, speech therapy.
Do you got a car?
No, I don't drive. I'm legally blind.
So you taking a public transportation and doing all of this?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hell. How? Yeah, you got to win. You got to win. Because if they give you tape, you're going to build a Taj Mahal with some tape.
I've been doing all this with no resources. Limited or no resources. Imagine what I'm going to do in the state Senate seat. Don't play games with me.
Jesus Christ. That's madness.
With
Sarah
twins
Blas.
strapped on my back. Yes. That's what black women do. I'm not the first black woman. I won't be the last. We're doing it every day.
I feel that.
It's black women watching this podcast with twins strapped to their back, making dinner, cooking, cleaning, and got to wake up at 5 in the morning and go to work. It's what we do.
Wow, that's a big deal. Shout out to my boy Kirk on the tune in, man. Shout out to the MTA. We need the MTA to support Sarah Blas, man. You know what time it is.
It's funny. My competitor, she works for the MTA.
Which competitor?
I think it don't matter.
Okay, but we got real MTA. And my OG and my uncle who passed away, rest in peace, Big Mike Langston, was the deputy chief of MTA Staten Island. Gold badge, not the other ones. You know what I'm saying? So the conversations really run long if they want to be had. But
we gonna get in on transportation equity in a minute though.
Okay. Do you want to? Do we got to talk about platform right now? You want to go platform talk?
No. We don't.
We
have
still
to.
vibing? Okay, let's
We
still tuning in. Talk ain't cheap. Let me check your cup real quick because I want to make sure that your cup is filled. We at the 30-minute mark, so that's a big deal. I'm happy that you made it.
Oh yes.
So let's do a little quick cup check. Make sure the cups is, we gotta get this situated for we here. And we're gonna take our social We're gonna do a little.
I love it. I love
I'm a
it.
little heavy-handed, respectfully.
You won't hear any complaints from me.
I love it here. I love it here. This place is pleasant as hell. Smell good. You got the aromatherapy. You got the sanitizer.
I do.
So I got.
Oh, please take some hand
I got
sanitizers with you. Let me know if y'all need any.
So
So I was talking about the pandemic.
go for it. I'm here.
So at the height of the pandemic, right? And I'm telling my story because, again, this is not unique to a lot of folks, right? So I'm working at the public health nonprofit. I'm running my own nonprofit. I'm homeschooling 6 children. Shout out to Ebony. I couldn't do it without you. And I'm looking around and folks are knocking on my door. Yo, garden lady. They call me the garden lady. Yo, garden lady. I ain't got no hand sanitizer. I have no computer. I have no Wi-Fi access. I got you. Let's go. We organized moms in this building. We organized over 600 Wi-Fi enabled devices to be distributed across the North Shore to parents like me that didn't have access to Wi-Fi. This is very early on in the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We organized over 1,000 PPE to home health aides, KN95 masks, to home health aides who didn't have enough PPE at the height of the pandemic. Because home health aides, which was my first job, shout out to 1199, y'all didn't endorse me, which is a shame. We won't get into that.
Man, talk about it. We here.
We won't get into that. But they were left, home health aides were left out of the conversation of first responders. Mm-hmm. They really, really were. So I was really proud to be a part of that, organizing that. This is all outside of all of us moms are, working during the day. Like I said, homeschooling babies, and we're doing all this for the community, right? Mm-hmm. So I was really proud when we also fed thousands. Afterwards, we just stopped counting. We fed thousands of families. I mean, people were locked in their homes. The grocery stores were empty. This was really scary. We fed thousands of families. Shout out to Health for Youth. They were doing so much with us too, knocking on doors. When people were afraid to knock on these doors, to come in these buildings, Heather Butts Health for Youth was out here knocking on doors. So shout out to that. Because let me tell you, I call elected officials.
And they didn't show nowhere. They don't come. Them folks be sleep.
You know who came?
Who?
Amoy Barnes came.
Of course she gonna.
All right.
Come on, Amoy know what time it. Bro,
all right.
Amoy from
right.
Amoy is from the. If I tell you Amoy stories, you'll be looking at me like, what? Amoy reached out to me like 2 years before she started running. Like, listen, this is what I'm doing. She came to me in my store.
Yo.
Like in my store, sat in the back room. Listen, Clea, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to do.
11 o'clock at night, 1 in the
man,
morning.
What? I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story.
People.
I was going through a mental breakdown. Amoy pulled up on me and picked me up.
Damn.
We was pulling up on folks too. Like, yo, this person, that person. Moy's really the realest.
She's
bro.
real. She's real. She's very special, and I'm so grateful she's in my life. And
that just speaks to to the quality of you as a candidate, though.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so we did all of that. I got to win a really prestigious award out here in Staten Island. It's the Staten Island Woman of Achievement.
Big deal.
2020. First responders, just for all that I was doing. And, I didn't go, oh, hey, there might be some kind of really fancy award I could win at the end of this, right? It was just like, people are literally dying in these streets. Like, literally dying.
Especially on Jersey Street.
It was wild. And, you just do it. You just get up. You do what you can do. And wherever I can, I like to help folks. Mm-hmm. So that's me. That's who I am, what I do, why it's important to me. And you'll hear me talk about, like, I'm running because I believe the lived experience is missing from legislation. Mm-hmm. And I'm really tired of elected officials tokenizing, the stories that are everyday people's lives. Mm-hmm. And I think that we deserve to have a seat at the table where we make decisions and we decide where funding goes in our communities. Because we know the solutions. We're already doing the work for free.
Oh, man. We've been doing this shit for free. When are we going to get paid? # get me my bag, please.
Are you talking about reparations now? That's
man,
what we talking about.
They don't want to talk reparations. You say the R word to white people, they start shaking in their boots.
But when we talk about equitable driven strategies, right? When we talk about true equity, we got to get a little uncomfortable, my brother. We got to talk about the fact that
talk about it.
This country was built on
the back of black people.
Backs.
The back of black people.
Black backs.
Have you? I gotta send you the episode with Debbie Ann Page. Shout out to my OG. Debbie
Oh
Ann
my
Page.
God, I love me some Debbie Ann Page. Amazing historian. If you don't know her app, check out her app. It's amazing. You could really learn the history of
What's her app called?
Lord have mercy, help me out. Google it right quick. We're gonna Google it. We're gonna put it in the chat box for folks.
No problem. I got you. I'm looking right now, but we gonna come back to it. We can come back to it. But nah, shout out to Debbie Ann Page. I gotta tap in with her soon. Actually, another person that gave, allowed me to come to her space, speak with her,
nice,
and really build with her and her husband. Her husband is part of the first black class, the first black students to ever graduate from IS 72.
I didn't know that. He's an amazing educator.
Oh man,
that man is an amazing educator.
The cloth on Staten Island is just different, and especially like being able to be young, black, and talented here. It's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Miss Sarah Blas, man.
Let's get into it. What else you got for me?
So let's talk. Let's talk campaign talk, right?
All right, let's talk about
what has the campaign look like for you?
Whew.
And what are some things you learned about yourself during the campaign? Because not a lot of people know what it takes to run a campaign in government. Like a lot of people don't know what that takes.
So I thought I knew.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I went to a lot of training at the arena. I went to the women's campaign school at Yale University.
Okay. There's a campaign school at Yale?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you've been working. You've been working.
Oh, I've been working.
Okay.
Shout out to the Vorsby Scholarship. Thank you so much, Cindy Vorsby, and your legacy. I used that scholarship to go to the women's campaign school at Yale. If you haven't applied, it's actually open enrollment every year, so please apply if you want to go and do any type of campaign school. You see yourself running for office. There are opportunities out there for folks that don't have thousands of dollars to throw away in a campaign school. So
without a doubt.
Get out there. And if you need help filling out the application, hit me up. I'm all over social media. I manage it myself.
Sarah Blas. She running for Senate, y'all. wait, I don't think you understand. If she wins, she is the first black woman.
Yes.
And the first NYCHA residents. We are in Jersey Street. We are in the new right now. We are not in somebody's fancy ass apartment with a rooftop overseeing the, you know what kind of energy I like. So we're not there. We are in the trenches. We are in New Brighton, Jersey Street. If you know, you know right now. And I'm with Sarah Blas. She's running for Senate. When is the election, by the way?
August 23rd is Tuesday,
August
y'all.
23rd.
Early
August
voting tomorrow.
23rd. August 23rd is the election. All right? And I'm speaking with the future city. No, I'm sorry. Let me not shortchange you. The future senator. Okay.
God willing. So,
campaign. What has it been like for you? What you learned about yourself?
I've never been asked that question. That's a deep question. I appreciate your interview skills are amazing.
Immaculate, but
yes, they are immaculate. Let me correct myself.
Shout out to the brand.
They're immaculate. So I learned that I don't like to get up early in the morning. Lord have some mercy. I do not like to get up early in the morning. But when you're campaigning, you have to. My days start at 5:30. So many emails. You got to make sure you're on schedule. There is no wiggle room for. You know about Myers-Briggs? I'm like an ENFP.
Course.
All right. I'm an ENFP. I'm literally a campaigner.
Yeah, ENFP, me too.
You are?
Extroverted, interested.
Yes.
Feeling
a perceiver. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not judgmental. Yeah, I'm not judgmental.
We don't like rigid routine. We want to go with the flow. We want to feel energy.
We the wave.
Yes. Excuse me. Ain't none of that on the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really hard for me. Sometimes we call it vicarious trauma if you're like a mental health professional and you hear stories all the time. I have a new empathy for any kind of candidate, regardless of whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, Working Families Party, liberal, whatever you are, however you identify yourself. Mm-hmm. I hear horrible stories all day, every day. Mm-hmm. And so I've learned that I really have to take some time to process that because I'm a deep empathizer. So I don't like waking up early in the morning, and I need time to process, at the end of the day from the campaign trail.
What does peace look like to you?
Oh, okay. Peace.
Because the reason I ask is because nowadays these women want to live a soft life. And everyone's been promoting this whole concept of living really peaceful, having peace and all those things. So for me, it's what does peace look like to you, and how do you unwind after a day? Because like I said, for me, what my concern, and I think a lot of people's concerns may be, is we understand the conditions of which you've been able to operate as an individual. But when you become an elected official, you're responsible for a constituency that is a lot bigger than just your home.
Correct.
So, and we know what your situation is because we spoke about it prior.
Yes.
How do you decompress? Because we need you here. You know, we need you. We need your legacy. We need your longevity. We need you at 110%. So what are the things that you do mentally?
I want to say, first and foremost, all of the things that I describe, I don't do by myself.
Okay.
It takes an entire team. You know how they say it takes a village to
raise a child? Of course, I'm Nigerian. Well, we Nigerian.
Hey.
Okay.
You know, I'd say it takes a village to raise a child. For me, it takes a few continents because I have so many babies. That was a joke.
I felt it.
Okay.
There was 6 of them.
Yes. I need 6 continents.
Man.
So I have an amazing supportive family. I have amazing supportive friends. Mental health counseling. Every Thursday, I have an hour blocked out because I'm in counseling. If there's a campaign crisis, it has to wait because I'm in counseling. And I also practice meditation. I practice some mild yoga depending on how my body is feeling. You know, some other spiritual things that I really integrate into my routine and I have to make time for because I have to practice what I preach. And it's very hard to, you know, connect other people to services when you're not connecting with yourself. And
to be a elected official, you have to give a lot of yourself. And it's a lot. Like,
you do. I can't speak to that because I'm not an elected official, but as a candidate, it is like something I have never imagined. And all of the training schools that I mentioned are amazing, but there's nothing like the experience of actually being a candidate.
I think you need to open up your own training school. Right in New Brighton Project. I'm so serious. I think that we need an advocacy group that speaks on the behalf of those who are in marginalized communities.
Lord have some mercy up in here. It's rough.
Oh, for real?
It's you're literally on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's why I asked you if you took a nap today.
No, I didn't take a nap.
I wish I did. I was like, yo, sis, did you take a nap today? Can you please take a nap? I was like, I was telling you, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take my little time to get over here because I already knew where I was coming. I knew the parking was going to be trash. And I knew that, like,
is trash.
Yeah, I already knew what it was. So I was like, no, let me take my little time so she could get a little nap in. But I'm just glad we had the opportunity to have this conversation for real. So what do you hope to accomplish running for Senate? Like, what is the goal to win? And if you do not win, God forbid, what would you have hoped your legacy would have been in trying or attempting? I'm not trying to put that energy in the air. I'm just asking a question for the sake of.
I feel you. So the first question is, what do I hope to do when I win? So my platforms you'll see on my website, Sarah Blas for Senate, FOR, not the number, .com. You'll see education, and I talked a little bit about my children having IEPs, you know, really knowing what it's like to cut through all the red tape, not having, you know, what my children have needed in a public school system. Education is up there. That also includes CUNY. I believe that CUNY should be free to folks. I believe that college education should be free to folks, right? You'll also see accessibility. And accessibility doesn't just mean that, you know, people in wheelchairs can go up ramps. No, it means that our streets are walkable. It means that I can get public transportation in a reasonable amount of time to get culturally appropriate medical care, reasonably priced medical care, and all of those other things that come with being a person that has a disability, right? So you'll see accessibility up there. Also, my website, I'm the only candidate that has an accessible website. You'll see the accessibility icon. You can click it if you have dyslexia, dyscalculia, and you need the website to transform for, you know, in a way that you can have it, you know, so you can absorb the information. If you're colorblind, that's there for you. So feel free to dive in and play around with the accessibility icon.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So it's education.
Yes.
Accessibility.
Yes.
And what else?
And also housing.
Okay.
So when we talk about housing, it doesn't just mean that, hey, the rent is too high. It means that there are people living, including myself. Took me 8 months to get the mold removed out of my kitchen.
8 months to get the mold removed out of your kitchen?
My children also have asthma, yes. Don't get me started.
8 months?
Yeah.
You already probably got something by now. So you gonna call Selena and Barnes? Well, not we can't.
Selena and Barnes.
Yeah, it's not even Selena no Barnes. It's Barnes and Bros. It's Barnes and Bros. Selena got the fuck out of there. That nigga dead.
So here's the thing, folks know I'm running for state senate. I can pick up a phone call and have elected officials put pressure on management. And it took me, somebody that has access,
to do so.
8 months. Do you know what it takes to average NYCHA resident?
5 years.
Lord have some mercy.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
Unacceptable. So when we talk about a family living in conditions like that, how does that affect asthma rates?
Mm-hmm.
From one side of the district all the way into Brooklyn, from one side of the bridge to the other, asthma rates are the number one reason why our children are absent from school. It's not because black and brown mothers aren't trying to get their kids out to school. It's because they can't breathe. It's the number one reason why children are absent from school, because of asthma. Living in mold-filled apartments. Come on now.
And we're not talking about even mold-filled schools.
We didn't even get there yet. We didn't even talk about the infrastructure of schools. We are doing better with that. Infrastructure is the one thing the CEC can actually has power over, which is why I joined that. But that's neither here nor there. But let's think about, the impact that it has on our first responders, our healthcare workers. Mm-hmm. All the unnecessary asthma exacerbations, in hospitals. Why are we putting that extra burden on our healthcare providers? Mm-hmm. Why are we doing that?
No, without a doubt.
So housing really needs to be fixed so families can say, I have a safe, affordable place to call home. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about homeowners, okay, many of the homeowners that can't pay their mortgage, they're elderly, they are disabled, and they're at risk of the bank taking their home because they can't make mortgage payments because of taxes. So I'm not just here talking about renters like myself. I'm also talking about homeowners that, again, we need to stop putting, all types of private agencies going, you know what? Yeah, we're don't worry about the taxes. You can get all these tax write-offs where the average working family can barely pay their mortgage and feed their family.
And Staten Island is built off of working families, if people want to talk about it.
Hello, talk about it.
A lot of folks do not go away for college on Staten Island. Come on now. I think the population of people who really go away for college, and if you talk about the black men who go away for college, it's probably under 3%. And Cletus went to the PhD level, but we just give God glory for real. That's privilege in certain perspectives, but at the same time, that's really gotten a whole lot of people praying for me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I'm a product of New York City Public School. It ain't.
Yes.
This did not come from going to Staten Island Academy.
Ditto.
You forget me.
No.
But what I will say is, I think that there is a trickle down effect to everything you're saying.
There is. We've got to look at the root cause of these things. And fully funded communities. I know a lot of people are talking about gun violence is a hot topic, especially for people that don't actually live in the communities where you have to hear gunshots all night, because I do. All right? My kids wake up at night going, Mommy, what's that noise? I can't sleep.
Is it fireworks or if it's gunshots? All right, you get me.
Come on now.
Is it fireworks or gunshots? You can listen for the after effect. Like, that's a gun. Someone just died. Like, someone just got hit. Like, you just got to sit there. Like, I make the phone call like, Ma, someone just got hit. You got to just move now. Real tech. Yeah, of course. You talking to me. Come on. I know what it looks like.
Get out of here.
It's different. It's different out here.
I love getting that question on debates. Do you care about gun violence? And I'm like,
do you know where the fuck I live? Do you know where I live? Do you know who runs where I'm from? Do you know what the text messages look like?
No.
Do you know what kind of ends I stay in, bruv?
No.
Oh, all right.
They have no. It's just a talking point for folks. For most folks in that arena, it's a talking point. It's a case study. They saw it on the news.
Listen.
They read it in the newspaper.
I get it. And
yeah. So housing, accessibility, and education. You'll see those as my three main platforms, and that's what's important to me. That's what I feel like the community needs. But at the end of the day, when you're a candidate, you could talk about your life experience, right? You can talk about what you want to do. But when you're an elected official, it's all about co-governance and saying, hey, I work for you. What do you think needs to be done? And making sure that that's what happens in legislation.
So you say you're not a part of the machine, right?
No.
And there's a couple of candidates, because you're running against 3 other people.
Correct.
And they're part of the machine.
The two of them are, yes.
How do you, what do you plan to do to, because I don't want to obviously give away your whole blueprint of how you plan on being successful, but what are some of the things you hope to do, to topple the machine?
Hi, I live in NYCHA, and I'm running to be your next state senator.
But you know how people don't vote. Like, let's just keep it real. Like, our people don't vote. We've seen that with a Moist campaign. We've seen that with
But why don't we vote?
Accessibility, 1. Education, 2.
I'm going to hit you on accessibility. Voting sites are right here in our nature facilities, right around the corner.
Information dissemination.
True. Yes, you got me on that.
As well as the fact that I'm not gonna say we're lazy because I don't think it's that, but folks really be trying like have other things on their plate. Like,
yes, if your baby's in the emergency room having another asthma exacerbation on some oxygen because you live in a multi-filled apartment, the last thing you're thinking about is election day.
or if you got trauma from living in a certain community where you hear gunshots all the time.
Hello, if your baby, come on now.
Like
Come
the
on.
stories go on. Trust
Listen.
me, I get it. Like,
I got it. So, listen, at the end of the day, you know, I believe that when you give a candidate to the people who are most disenfranchised that they believe in, they will show up to the polls. I believe that they will. And if they don't, guess what? I'm going to run again.
I love that because I be trying to tell Moy to run again. She look at me like I'm a bitch ass nigga. She look at me like, Cletus, I think, Cletus, I would love to, but I think I got to take some little time for myself, and I get it.
And that's okay. That's
This
all right.
is different.
Take some
This
time
is
for
this
yourself, 'cause
campaign stuff
woo,
is different.
It's rough. It's rough.
And y'all
Yeah.
women
Woo.
with
Lord have some
kids
mercy. Woo.
living in Jersey Street
Yes.
with broken elevators,
Correct.
with a disability,
Correct.
still making it happen.
Amen.
Man,
Yes.
you said you have questions for me, right?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. What are they?
So I have so many. What was your very first podcast about?
Shout out to my bro Derek. I think he just tuned in and he left. It's called "What's Up with These Queens?"
Okay.
And he basically asked the question about how can, as black men, can we improve black women?
What?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
I just
Say
said
more.
that. I said that I don't think it's our responsibility to improve anybody. I feel like all we can do is improve ourselves with hopes that we add value to the people that we love and the women that we cater to. Because I was raised by women.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I was raised by women. I don't think people know my story enough, and it's good because they don't need to know it now because I haven't won to the level that I need to win yet
Okay.
for people to care.
Okay.
But if you know me, I'm really a product of my mom, my sister, Auntie D, so Pride's mom, Tanisha Franks, which is Janelle Num's mom.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of other women that you never know. And then in my latter part of my life, even like it's a couple people like Coach Rachel. There's a sister named Eleanor that used to be like the head police at CSI. That like she's a black woman, chocolatey queen. Like,
I love that you said chocolate.
And she don't
chocolatey
play
queen.
like she didn't have step with nobody. Like
Wow.
a real stepper for real type things. Like,
Wow.
and then there's a lot of Miss Nubia at Wagner, Miss Clark at 51. Like if I or anything from step program. If you talk about anything from step program, y'all know who I'm talking about. You know who ran that. So these are the people that I came under. Like that's my lineage, right? So there's that aspect. But then when I got to a certain part of my life, I had a lot of men. I stayed in the church. And then I had a lot of OGs that stepped up. Like I have a father, he's cool. Our relationship isn't the greatest. It just kind of started getting healthier. My parents are not together, and it wasn't and the one thing I will say I respect about my parents is that they never made it public and they never made it about the kids. You know what I mean? So for me, like when they were going through what they were going through, I was out there working, playing 3 sports and 6 clubs. Like I was busy.
Right.
So I never had the time to engage in the politics.
I understand.
So in that process of not having the traditional household, especially as a Nigerian black man in America, I found myself. My mom gave me the leeway to be the man I need to be. I still had a responsibility to my family, and I still had a responsibility to myself. And I'm also the first grandson of my family. So that's a big deal.
Wow.
So my legacy conversation is different. The way I walk with my bop, my energy is different. God forbid God takes my life today, because no man's going to take my life. God forbid God takes my life today. I've left enough clues, enough information, data, resources to showcase like this is what it takes to be able to make it out of stuff like this.
Wow.
And that's why I have to commend you. Regardless of what the election looks like, you, Amoy, Pride, and a lot of other people who are doing the work for real. Y'all didn't come up off of some man. Y'all didn't marry somebody and got child bred up. Because there's a lot of people, and I'm not going to call them by their names, that really, if you know their history, they cannot speak to me. They cannot speak to you. They cannot sit in the same rooms that we sit in, comfortably speaking, with a lot of bread, with a lot of money, not a little money, like a lot of money. That love to talk about what they do, but they don't really do nothing. Like, don't do nothing, because I really be in the churches for real. So with that being said, I really respect what you're about. I respect what you're
real, y'all.
Because they know. Because if you do the Google, for me, I'm one of the people like just do the Googles.
Yeah, just do the Googles.
Do the Googles. The information is there.
It's there.
And if you gotta ask the questions.
Correct.
A lot of people shaking in their boots when you start asking them real questions.
Like, what have you done for the community outside of your working hours?
Or why did you do it? How did you get there? They'll say I became this way. How? Who else I gotta talk to that could really verify that? Because when I start really knocking on doors and pulling between curtains and opening doors at the crib, and you seeing all these different skeletons, and you're like, well, I thought you was the man. In high school, you was the man, homie.
Yeah.
Because then you look around, you look at the situation, it's like, yeah, it looks great. You know, you're doing these things, you're promoting it, but things ain't changing. There's no shift in culture. Things are not getting better. You're profiting. Ooh. You're looking better. Your hair looks nicer. Your beard is fuller. The type of access you're getting is better, but things are not changing.
Who are you bringing with you?
All right, let me shut the fuck up.
Who you bringing with you?
So, what I'm asking you now is, what do you hope to accomplish from this?
So this is the second part of your question. If I don't win, what do I hope to accomplish?
That's not even if you don't, but just all in all, win or lose, what do you hope to accomplish? Why?
Well, I've already won. And in so many ways, I've been able to connect folks to a lot of resources. So many times I knock on doors. I'm going to share 3 quick stories. I was knocking on doors. I got these 2 comments, both in Coney Island and here in Staten Island. I'm not going to say where. They said, you live in NYCHA? You could run for office? I'm gonna repeat that again, just in case people didn't hear me. You live in NYCHA? You can run for office?
Mm-hmm. Information and access. I always say the same things.
I said, sis, we could do anything and live in NYCHA.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Airbnbs that we're about to start doing, but we're not talking about that right now. Straight out the NYCHA. Straight out the NYCHA. Straight out the NYCHA. I'm trapping out the NYCHA. If you lived here for over 20 years, you got the access to trap out the NYCHA. Respectfully.
I never said nothing about no Airbnbs and NYCHA, y'all. That was not for me, okay? The second thing I wanted to share was my daughter, Maya. She is 6 years old. She said, Mommy, can boys run for state senate too?
That's dope.
I was like, yes, baby, they can. She's like, are you sure? Because she only saw Jessica, Bianca, and myself running for state senate. And she was like, where are all the boys?
But that's a big deal, though. Like,
isn't that cute?
That's dope. She's
grown up in a generation where she sees women running for office. She knows them more. She's like, Amoy runs for office. You know? And it's like,
she's going to be great for this, though. Because it's the fact that no matter, like, the representation that she sees, yes. You got to think, like, I won't even say, like, 10 years. I say even 5 years ago, you ain't really see women in power doing anything for it.
Shout out
they were doing it.
Rachel, shout out to you for Dare to Run. I love you so much. Dare to Run is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization. If you're thinking about running for office, free classes, hit up Rachel. She's active on social media. You need any resources, you're thinking about running for office, hit me up. I got you.
Dope.
And the third thing that I will share is my oldest daughter. She just turned 18.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My beautiful baby, Christy. I love you so much, mama. Let me take it back. My grandmother, she's 92 years old. Her name is Pastor Susie Elliott. She told me stories about when she was in college that she had to sit in the back of the bus. Mm-hmm. She had to drink from the colored-only water fountain. She went to Shaw University, a historical black college.
Shout out to Shaw, HBCU. I know you.
HBCU.
Shout out. You know Grand Fam in the building. You know Howard here, too. But shout out to Shaw. You know that.
Yep. HBCU. And she would tell me those stories when I was 18. I'm not going to give my age. It was a while ago.
I already did the math, but I'm going to mind my business.
Mind your business.
I'm gonna mind my business.
Mind your business. And I got to tell my daughter stories. And when she tells her daughter stories one day when she has a child, she'll say, when I turned 18, the very first time that I voted for a state senator, I voted for my mother, your grandmother.
It's a big deal. It's legacy talk. That's what this is about. Like, I'm at the point in my life where I'm not doing this for myself. I don't got no kids, though. But I'm at the point where I understand, like, this shit is big.
Careful, it's a slippery slope.
I mean, listen, if I have one, I'm going to have 12.
Well,
I know I am
cheaper by the dozen, right?
I am my grandfather's first grandson. I don't fall too far from the tree. For real, for real. I'm really more like him than I think anybody else.
Okay.
And I think that's why my mom is like, looks at me like I'm a little crazy sometimes.
Aww.
But, you know, family ties run deep. Shout out to everybody a part of family ties. That diamond connection goes crazy.
It does.
So, no, I respect what you're about. I respect the platform that you're building. And, like, God forbid, like I said, whatever happens with this election, you have already done more than 90% of people on this island have done. And I want you to really remember and honor that.
Thank you.
You're not here to appease men and women. I think God sees that you're taking your talents to the next level. And I feel like I'm at the point where it's like, I'm not doing this to, like I said, appease men and women.
Right.
You got God-gifted talents, and the only way you worship God is through the actions of what you do. Correct. I know they say faith without works is dead, and that, you know, it's all about all these other different things, but it's like, sometimes it's not what you do, but if you got talent, like the story of the talent, and I'm not trying to be a preacher because that's not, my mama been saying I'm going to be a pastor, that's not what I'm about. But I will say it's about the story of the gifts and the talents, right? One servant had one had three, one had five. The one that had one, he buried it. The one that had three, he just kept it. And the one that had five multiplied it. And I feel like the one that got five got blessed because he multiplied it. And what you're doing is multiplying your talents.
Thank you.
You have had the struggles that you've had. You've had the trauma that you experienced. You went through the help. You're doing the work to get to the next level. And you're helping your community in a way that people who are not from your community can never understand.
Correct.
And what you're doing is a lot bigger than yourselves. And the only way that I want you to understand is like, you are doing God's work. It's your way of doing it, but you're doing it. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Best of luck on your campaign. I will give you some advice.
Please give me all the advice.
Because you know, like I said, even Amoy, I ain't gonna lie, Amoy was like, "Cleese, you're going through a mental breakdown." Yes, I was, but I'm very sane. I know what I'm talking about. Yo, tap in. I'm gonna just say that, tap in. The social media game is gonna really be the X factor for real. Let me get off of this because people are gonna start taking the whole blueprint for real.
Wait, do we have any questions?
Nah, they ain't got no questions. Them folks is getting drunk. They outside.
That's hilarious.
They're outside. But what I will say is it's gonna definitely come down to the social media aspect of things. I will also say is to make sure that your presence is very felt. All of your resources the day of the election should be to be in the streets. You're gonna need like maybe one or two people to really be handling the social media. Everyone in the streets is gonna be responsible for taking pictures, videos, and sending it to one or two people to post on the socials prior to the election. So that's basically this weekend and Monday. Your job is to really reinforce your platform, really tap into all of your endorsements. Do you have any endorsements by any chance?
Oh, yeah. We're endorsed by the Working Families Party.
So we need to see more. We need to see more.
New York Immigration Coalition.
We need to see more. So that means you need to get on a Zoom call tomorrow morning. As soon as you get off of this phone, off this podcast, we need to see emails be sent. We need calls to be sent. We need text messages to be sent. We need to make sure that they can reinforce that they actually believe in what you're about and what you're doing. Because what I've learned, especially with Staten Island politics, is everyone says that they're doing something, but when it's time to really come to the polls, that shit never, ever pans out. Never. And that's what got me tight about Amoy's campaign. Because everybody, even the people who won, said that Amoy ran the best campaign.
She did. That was a great
even
campaign.
The people who supposed to endorse her. And I'm talking about the OGs. And I'm not going to say her name because she know how I am.
Please don't.
She knows how I am. Her brother comes to my store every day. She knows me. She's my neighbor. Everybody couldn't, like, there's not a lot of people that come and pull up on you in the hospital, make sure you're okay because your foot is fucked up.
Hold up.
Yeah, it's like that.
Hold up. Can I tell you something real quick?
Go ahead.
Height of the pandemic, I was in the hospital. You know who came to see me?
Amoy.
You know who picked me up when I was discharged?
Amoy. I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
They don't make them like that no more.
So and then now everyone's like, oh, I didn't know that this campaign was going. I didn't know this elected official moved like that. I looked at them like, you don't know your mother. That's why. You don't know your fucking mother.
Damn.
Call your mother. Make sure she's okay. Make sure she ate today because you don't know her. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what it's about. Like, everyone talks about change, but they don't talk about what it takes to actually make the changes.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But I will end on this. If you are a registered Democrat, you are eligible to vote in this primary, August 23rd. I would love, love, love to count on your vote this election. If you are not a registered Democrat, you're not registered at all, you've never voted, it's not too late to register to be eligible to vote in the November election. And I will also be on the ballot, regardless of what happens during this primary. I will be on the ballot in November because I'm also endorsed by the Working Families Party. So please show up. Please vote. Every vote does count, because if it didn't, they wouldn't try to suppress our vote. I'm going to say that one more time. Every vote does count, because if it didn't, they would not try to suppress our vote. And if every Black, brown, single mother, disabled person went out to the ballot, we would control every single election. So I invite every single one of you to, if you feel like my politics don't align, just get out there and be civically engaged. And whoever wins, hold them accountable, because they work for you.
This is a special episode. I really hope that you all take heed to the conversations that's held, and I want to make sure I say thank you so much for your time. I hear your phone ringing, so that means you got business to handle. Like I said, make sure y'all go support Sarah Blas for Senate. One more time, it's SarahBlasFOR Senate. Okay, on Instagram, look up Sarah Blas, SARAH space, because some of y'all niggas don't know what a space bar is. BLAS. All right, and go show her some love. And y'all know, like I said, man, y'all tuning and talk ain't cheap, and y'all know it's not that deep. It's a vibe. This is Clear Real Talk. Shout out to everything I'm working towards. Like I said, we're gonna start rolling things out. Shout out to Bro Stigma. Shout out to the Immaculate Spades. Our tournament is coming soon. Even shout out to the World Series of Spades. Even the emotional people who run it. But also shout out to Bro's Mental Health, like I spoke about. Shout out to Peace International Market. Shout out to the Clears Group, my consulting company. And shout out to everything I'm working for. Like I said, if you really want to know what we're doing, follow at the Clears Group on Instagram. And if you have an issue, like I said, reach out, tap in my link in the bio, connect with me professionally on LinkedIn, and let's build. But Sarah Blas for Senate, I like what I'm hearing. God bless you, Queen. I wish you nothing but best.
So much for your time, King, and thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it.
All right, y'all know the face, y'all name. Y'all tune in, talk ain't cheap, and y'all know the slogan. It's not that deep. It's a vibe.